So it's over. We can all calm down now. No more craziness. The NFL trade deadline has passed, and a lot of teams have made some big moves. The Eagles picking up Robert Quinn, TJ Hawkinson moving on over to Minnesota, and obviously Bradley Chubb is now a Miami Dolphin. There were other moves, a bevy of moves, but the Eagles did not make a splash like many fans may have wanted. So, my question is, were the Eagles aggressive enough to continue the Super Bowl run? Let's get into it.
You want Philly Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Frosco, and it is Philly Philly the podcast. So today, I want to answer the question: were the Philadelphia Eagles aggressive enough to continue the Super Bowl run? Now, before we get into that, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. We are on the road to 4K, and we would love for you guys to join that ride. So, before we get into the heart of all this discussion, I want to first start off by saying what were some of the needs the Philadelphia Eagles had, right? The Philadelphia Eagles needed somebody that could be that third safety. The Philadelphia Eagles possibly needed a return man. The Eagles were also in the market for a running back, and there were other little things, maybe a defensive lineman, a tackle. Obviously, we did get Robert Quinn, but with the injury of Jordan Davis, that maybe have brought up a necessity to do that. And there are talks, even as I record this video, that the Eagles were in on some major guys. But the Eagles didn't pull any big triggers, right? The Eagles did not do anything wild with this team. The Eagles were in on talks with guys like Alvin Kamara, but didn't pull the trigger. Did we do enough? Is Robert Quinn enough? Is this team that we have good enough to continue the success that we've had? Defensively, we'll start there. You look at the safety group, and like I said, that was a concern for me. The Eagles have about two good safeties right now, and that's no slight to any of the other guys on the roster. We have two proven guys. We have Marcus Epps, who's going out there and having himself a heck of a year, and then you also have a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who also is going out there and having a great year, having to adjust to playing full-time safety. You look at the cornerback room, there was really no need to fix that, but a third safety would have done well. We saw it when Chauncey Gardner went down. He obviously came back and was able to have that game-sealing interception, but we saw it when he went down and Kayvon Wallace was asked to step in. It just didn't look good. There was a lot of plays that took advantage of him being on the field. And again, that's no slight to Kayvon. I love the kid. I think that he could have a bright future. I don't know if the Eagles are going to be patient enough to see it through, but we need to figure out what's going to be happening at that position in the event. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but in the event something does happen to Marcus Epps or something does happen to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, do we realistically feel comfortable having a guy like Kayvon Wallace go in there? I don't know the answer to that, but it seems like the Eagles feel comfortable enough with who they have. We did pick up a cornerback from the Jets. I believe he was on their practice squad. Nothing to write home about, nothing crazy, obviously, but it is a pickup. So would that be something that kind of made them say, listen, we have a bunch of young guys at the spot. Let's just go ahead and rock with them? Possibly. That possibly could have happened. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about the safety spot moving forward, but it is what it is. It looks like we are where we are. Defensive tackle, like I said, look, Jordan Davis was coming into his own, starting to see more snaps, and unfortunately, he gets injured in that last game against Pittsburgh. They're saying he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, which is honestly way less than any of us could have anticipated. The way that injury looked, it looked like it might have been really bad. Obviously, couldn't put any pressure on the leg after that play, and was helped and carted into the locker room. So when you put all that together, usually it's a big injury. The Eagles are lucky that we might get him back in 4 weeks, and obviously we will have him for our playoff run. But what happens in the meantime? Are you feeling confident in a guy like Marlon Taylor? Are you feeling confident in a guy like Milton Williams? Or do you feel good about maybe Fletcher Cox having to see an expanded role, or one of these guys that you didn't necessarily go into the season thinking they would be the guys? Maybe they have to be the guys. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with that situation, but if I'm the Eagles, I am going to throw Marlon Taylor to the Wolves. I am going to throw him in that lineup, and I'm going to say, listen, you are taking every single snap that Jordan Davis took. And why am I doing that? Because at the end of the day, we drafted him to be a similar type of player. Obviously, he wasn't drafted in the first round. He wasn't, Jordan Davis coming out of the college, but we did draft him to be that gap guy, to be that run stopper guy in the middle. Let's see if he can do it. I mean, he wasn't really given a huge opportunity to do it last year. This year, he's seeing snaps, but now is an opportunity, and I think that the Philadelphia Eagles would be smart to take that opportunity. Best case scenario, he goes out there, he balls out, and maybe this offseason some teams are calling about him and saying, we want to make him our starter. We want to make him our number 2 guy. Or the Eagles can say, hey, we got something here. We have something that we can build upon throughout the future. We now have 2 guys that can eat up that middle, and maybe we can kind of rotate a little bit more. There's a lot of good things that can happen from him playing well. Now, if he plays poorly, I don't think that his position or what we're going to ask of him would lose us games. I don't think that him solely being in there would lose us games if his snaps increased. So I'm not too worried about the negative side of it. It's a tough spot. It's a tough thing to see one of your young guys that was, like I said, coming into their own go down, but I feel like this gives an opportunity to some of the other young guys that can kind of get into their own. So I am upset about the defensive tackle position, and it hurts that, obviously he got hurt, but this looks like an opportunity. This looks like, hey, Eagles are saying you now have a chance to go out there and earn your spot even more, maybe earn a starting spot somewhere else, maybe earn a bag somewhere else. So it is what it is. Safety spot and the defensive tackle spot, they feel confident. So I'm not gonna complain too much. We're undefeated. They've been making some good plays, calls as far as the coaches go and as far as Howie Roseman goes. So I'm not gonna beat them up for it. Now we get to the offensive side a little bit. Running back wise, I know a lot of guys were looking at big names. There was a rumor, I don't know how true it was, but there was a rumor that the Eagles, were looking at a Jamal Williams out of Detroit. I don't know how true that is. I really don't. But even if it was, it all depends on what they wanted, right? The Eagles are in a position that we have a lot of draft assets moving forward. We're going to have good money moving forward. We have a good amount of our core already signed up through the foreseeable future. Obviously, on the defense, there are some names that we're going to have to re-sign, which even goes further. There was a lot of big names out there on one-year deals. Would the Eagles have been smart to bring somebody else in on another one-year deal, and now they have to deal with that in the offseason and have to figure out if they're going to pay that man as well? I don't know if they would have been, and especially at the running back position, where it's a volatile situation, in my opinion, because you have a guy in Miles Sanders that's having one of his best years. If he goes out there and has a great year, you're going to have to talk to him in the offseason. I don't know if the Eagles are going to want to pay him. I doubt the Eagles are going to want to pay him, if I'm honest. But they're going to have that conversation. If you add a guy like Kareem Hunt, one, you might tick off Miles Sanders. You might tick off Kareem Hunt, and both of them don't want to play for you because both of them feel like they're number 1 guys, and you just, did this whole thing. But at the end of the day, I don't feel we needed a top-tier guy. I still feel like there's moves that this Eagles team can make. Maybe bring in Trey Sermon to the active roster. Maybe bring in somebody like a Jordan Howard back on this team. There's things that the Eagles can do to solidify that position and make it stronger moving forward that don't include bringing on personalities into a locker room that is already obviously working. It's clicking, right? You don't want to mess that up. You don't want to bring in more money problems. At the end of the day, like I said, we have assets, we have draft assets, we have money coming in, but it's not unlimited. We are not the Bears. We are not going to have $100 million next year. It's the realities that we have to face. We have a very good young team right now, and you have to sign this very good young team. So that's what is going to happen. That's all I feel like. Were the Eagles aggressive enough? I think that we're fine. I think that, look, it would have been nice to add a nice name to this team and, make a position maybe like the running back group even stronger. But in reality, I feel like the Eagles played their role. They understand what they have in this team. And I think that goes a very, very long way. So I am okay. I am good. Fly, Eagles, fly. We're going to win this Super Bowl. We're going to win. Hey, I feel good. What do y'all think? Do y'all think we were aggressive enough? That's what really matters. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It is Fly, Eagles, fly. We are out here. Peace.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for
Yeah.
you.
Fly, Eagles, fly. And we on the team. Touchdown, touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start.
It's a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling with Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man soft. Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randolph. Season here, early time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco, thanks for tuning in.